Hello and welcome back to Life Begins at 20. My name is Mark and thank you so much for joining me, and if it's your first time here, welcome, and if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button below so you don't miss out on any of my future content. And we've now got to the final part of this set review, and we're going to be taking a look at my top 5 rares and mythics. And if you're planning on picking up any of the cards or singles that we talk about in this video or any part of the set as well, make sure you head over to the video sponsor Card Market, who provide an inexpensive, safe, fair and easy way to not only buy singles but also to sell them as well. The link for this will be in the description below. So without any further ado, let's get stuck in. Black in recent sets have been given a lot of good one-drops for aggro, and for me, Knight of the Ebon Legion doesn't disappoint. While a lot of people may well have preferred this to be a 2-1 rather than a 1-2 to fit into the style of deck better, its activated ability and potential of growing with counters certainly makes up for that. The threat of activation will make blocking it or even attacking into it problematic with +3/+3 and Death Touch for 3 mana. One activation or an unblocked attack provides the counter, and dealing 4 damage in a black or an aggressive Rakdos deck isn't too hard. For me, I certainly think this card is worth a test, but if you prefer not to sink mana into it and have an evasive 1-drop or a 2-power 1-drop, then it may not make the cut. Surprisingly for myself, it was the smaller Chandra that was the only Planeswalker in the list, and coming in at number 5. While I did like the 6-drop mythic version of her, it wasn't going to replace Chandra Flamecaller for me, so it didn't make it into the top 5. Acolyte of Flame, on the other hand, is interesting. Depending on the type and power of the cube, being able to flash back 2 spells from the graveyard for 3 mana is pretty good, but not broken. With the 2/0 cost abilities allow to either build other Planeswalkers' loyalty and potentially get to their ultimate faster, or create 2 tokens which can be used to attack in, benefit from anthems for more damage, or even use Gold Clamp to gain some extra value. I don't like the fact that she can't really protect herself, but a 3-cost Planeswalker is certainly something to consider. Powered cubes may well be more interested to bring back even more powerful spells, but certainly getting more removal back from the yard or being able to bolt multiple times to the dome may well be worth the price on its own. She is certainly one to consider for a test, but whether she makes it in the cubes in the long term remains to be seen. Flashing at number 4 is a great option for a green 4-drop, which is certainly needed, and that is Nightpack Ambusher. This 4/4 for 4 with flash is a creature that can provide value in multiple ways. If you manage to kill a creature off when flashing it in, then you're already off to a winner there. The ability to generate a 3/3 wolf each turn can potentially get out of control, especially if you're able to cast spells with flash or instants on your opponent's turn. If you aren't able to do that or have activated abilities to make the most of this, then unfortunately it's not going to be able to maximise the average 4/4 flash body for 4. 4-drops in green aren't exactly the strongest slot, so I can certainly see this card being worth having a test. Whether it'll actually be able to get into any of the smaller cubes, I doubt, but larger cubes will certainly be able to find a home for this. At number 3, we have a really awesome concept of a zombie dinosaur that I was initially struggling to determine where it sat for me. The more I looked at it and saw how it performed, the more impressed I've actually been. Rotting Regisaur is a 7/6 for 3, which is great value in aggressive decks. The positive of this card is you don't have to sacrifice it if you can't satisfy the card disadvantage. So if you're looking to fuel the graveyard, then you're going to get even more value from this massive beater. The biggest downside is that if your opponent can keep creating tokens to chump block, they can create some serious card advantage against you. At the end of the day, this is a pretty scary, cheap threat whose drawback doesn't actually have to be one. Like I mentioned earlier, I expect this card to do pretty well, but I can only see it really getting into larger style cubes. But if you put it into yours, let me know in the comment section as well below of what size you managed to get it in and if it's doing some work for you. Flying in at the number 2 slot, we have the best of the core set's Cavalier cards in a colour that shouldn't have too much issue either with the triple blue mana cost in the form of Cavalier of Gales. A 5/5 flyer for 5 which brainstorms when it enters the battlefield is a great place to start for a control deck topper. If your opponent manages to kill it, you get to shuffle it back into your deck, plus getting to scry 2 to help find more answers or win conditions. And if it doesn't get removed, you can just keep smashing for 5 in the air. The triple blue may put off some people picking this card if they are splashing for other colours, so certainly take this into account if you do decide to try it out. Blue 5-drops aren't plentiful, and the likes of Mole Drifter and Moloku aren't exactly game-ending bombs, which is why Cavalier may well find itself being a reliable way to close out a game. I certainly think this will be worth a test in larger cubes. There should be no surprise to anyone that the number 1 slot from this set had to be Voracious Hydra. The flexibility of the scaling card makes it a great option at pretty much any point in the game. From 4 mana onwards, it becomes a great deal. Getting a 2/3 and killing your opponent's creature or a 4/5 trample is pretty good value for 4, and then for each mana added after that, it becomes a better piece of removal or gets an additional +2/+2. I honestly think that this card's flexibility and the fact that it can do some serious work at any time during the game on any board state, it certainly means it'll be worth the test, and for a lot of people it may well actually make its way into their cubes as well. So there we have my picks for the Rares and Mythics from this set, and there's some pretty good cards there for a core set to test out and see how they do in your cube. So let me know in the comment section as well below which cards that you've put into your cube, or if I missed any other ones out that may be worth discussing about. Again, it'd be really interesting to find out in the comment section below. Just to mention, if you've missed any of the previous videos, there'll be a link in the description below for that as well. And if you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button as well so you don't miss out on any of my future content. If you enjoyed this set review and any of the previous videos, make sure you give them a like as well, because that really helps the channel out. And make sure you also follow me on my Twitter feed as well, because it'd be great to interact with you outside of YouTube as well. And I just want to say thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.